the defense.
What up? Welcome back to Split the Defense, Leafs post game. We're live after the Leafs beat the Avs, thankfully, because I could not handle our special guest, the number one producer Ted, after that loss.
No, you're right.
You're absolutely right. He would have destroyed us.
You're going to enjoy my
Thanks for
energy
joining
a lot
us
more.
Pardon me?
You'll enjoy my energy a lot more after a Leafs win than an Avs win.
Yeah, 100%. I don't feel like being buried tonight. Thanks for joining us. Split the Defense Leafs post game presented by Laforest Electrical Contractors, serving Kingston and the surrounding area since 2004. I'm Jordan Webster with Craig Pearce and, like I said, producer Ted Evans on screen tonight for game 68. And it wasn't a high scoring game, but it was an exciting game, wasn't it, boys?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely
100%.
an exciting game. Yep.
Yeah, I was expecting more goals, obviously. I think we were probably, even in our pregame chat, we were like, throwing out some numbers. And yeah, I was expecting more. Even an empty netter, couldn't get one there. I thought it was going to be even more.
Yeah, that's a great point. Even the empty netter didn't go.
Yeah.
You'd think, too, after like the Avs were like out shooting them 10 to 2 or something at the end of the first period. I don't even know what it was. It was really bad, though. That they would have scored on one of those, or more than one of those in that time.
Wow,
And
Wall played really well.
Just a nothing period in the first.
Yeah, and Wall,
especially like looking at the games prior to tonight, like there wasn't a game in the last 10 with under 4 goals in it. So like Ted and I were talking, like this is definitely, we would expect a high scoring event, even though I personally wanted it to be low scoring just because of my goalie situation in fantasy hockey. But definitely exciting game. A bit of like a hold on to your seat type of moments as a Leafs fan, I think. I mean, I'm sure Ted's kind of used to it, but as just watching the Avs come at you over and over and over again, it's a little bit scary.
Yeah. Oh, we had a few scary moments too when Matthews cut in there and ringed it off the crossbar, and then like a few minutes later that same period, the post. And I was like, okay, we're getting lucky. We've had a lot of that the last few games, and to see it go our way a few times was at least a little nice.
Honestly, this is like a pretty similar game to a lot of wins we've seen from the Leafs. Like, it's like a lot of it is a like low event and capitalize on your chances. And so, you definitely don't want to get outshot like this every night. But I mean, how many times, Webby, have we seen a Leafs win when we don't have the most amount of shots?
I think this season more than in the past.
Way more than in the past. Yeah.
So,
first star, Kelly Sutherland.
Definitely. I gave him second star in my group chat because Joseph Wall had a night.
Wall's actually the first star, 100%.
Yeah, but second star definitely to the ref. Who was it? Kelly Sutherland.
Kelly Sutherland. Yeah, they even got the Kelly chant going in the crowd. Yeah. Oh,
that is
my
the
God.
Most opposite of a Leafy situation I've ever seen. That is not something that you would expect to happen to the Leafs. But
all people, Steven Lorentz, and of all times, shorthanded.
Oh, what a shot!
What a shot!
Just the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing to happen for the Leafs. That happens against the Leafs 10 out of 10 times. For the that's just unheard of. It was just dumb luck.
Capitalize on your opportunities, like I said.
Dumb luck.
Yeah.
So
they did well.
We did have a few goals tonight. We talk about those goals. Matthews scores the first goal of the game on the power play early. Again, on the power play for Matthews. He did have that nice break later in the game. He does look like he's playing a little bit better. I don't know whether he plays faster lately or he's playing harder or he's just getting more opportunities to make an impact. I don't know whether he's putting himself in a better spot. I don't know what it is, but either way, it looks like he's playing better 5v5, but he's become somewhat of a power play merchant. Is he not?
Yeah, I mean, and not just the points, but 5-on-5, like the one play where he just puts Cal McCarr in his pocket twice in a matter of 5 seconds. That's the Matthews stuff. That's what we expect from him. It's not all about the points. Like, that is part of the game that we just haven't been seeing, like the creating turnovers, stick lifts. And yeah, he was a full package tonight. And I was saying on last podcast and also in our chat, like, Matthews' new identity to me is a shutdown 5-on-5 and power play merchant. And so, hey, I'll take it.
Trying to speak that into existence.
I really
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
No, but it's now happened 2 games in a row, and this was the ideal situation. Nice. McKinnon got a point, but not 5-on-5.
Yeah, no, and that point, that's a classic Avs power play setup right there. The guy in the slot, whether it be Lehkonen, Nichushkin, and McKinnon hits him, and he just rifles it in. I mean, I've seen that 1,000 times this season, it feels like, and I've seen it not work, though, like probably 2,000 times, where it gets intercepted or the pass doesn't make it. But when it hits, exactly. That's hockey, and when it hits, it's great, We'll take
McKinnon's entry to the zone on that too was unbelievable. Yeah, Marner almost never gets caught off guard like that, and he was totally going right when McKinnon's going left. So that was a
nice play. And Marner had a great defensive game, I thought. I mean, he stopped up a lot of plays. That one where he's on his knees at the blue line and got it out of the zone on right between Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon. I thought, I mean, that's what you want. Stick. That's what you need to do. Yeah, and with no stick. And that was nice too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, he had some great defensive plays.
Steve Dangle had a tweet about that. I want to talk about that while we're on Marner. He says, here it is. A player knocked your stick away. Do you, A, go get it, B, go to the bench, or C, throw your hands in the air and do nothing, resulting in a half-minute fire drill to end the period? Like, come on. Why would you? He had time. Like, he was like floating back to the zone. I'm like, dude, if you hustled, you could already have a new stick and be back in the play.
Like, also, it happened at the opposing blue line, I'm pretty sure, when he lost his stick. So, like plenty.
No, was it our blue line?
Was it our blue line? Well, either way, he the way he comes into the zone, I agree. There's definitely time for him to change or something. But I mean, in the end,
bonehead move.
Yeah, in the end, it didn't end up in a goal, but you look back on that and I hope that he understands that wasn't the right play to make. But
he must have been exhausted, breathing through his eyelids, as he says.
Right. Is that what he says?
That's what he said a few weeks ago in an interview. So what about Val Nichushkin? Nichushkin, he ties the game up on the power play for the Avs shortly after Matthews gets the first goal of the game. Choo Choo is, in fact, a Leaf killer. Mm-hmm. He's got 8 goals and 4 assists in 12 games against the Leafs. Wow. You can count that out at home, ladies and gentlemen. That's a point per game player. Yeah. Coming into this game, and in his last 4 periods, up when he had scored at that point, he had 4 goals against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wow. You believe that's a guy who went a whole year without a goal in Dallas? That doesn't even make sense. How he's not even the same player.
Man, he's not does not make sense at all.
No, he's a superhuman.
He's such a threat.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I think it's been proven time and time again. Like, it's a pretty easy situation to go into Colorado. Guys seem to be able to. I don't know if it's like a McKinnon screams at them to follow in order, or it's just a situation where you find your place really quickly. However it works, though, people thrive there. So I don't know. Like, it's the same thing that we're seeing with Rantanen. Like, if Nichushkin goes somewhere else, what kind of a player is he? Like, I know for sure if he's on the Leafs, he's not this player. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we saw the interesting the Jared Blendnar tonight, the Bednar blender. There was a lot of they had Nelson with Nichushkin and Nathan McKinnon, which was interesting because obviously Nuke and Nelson have been finding their chemistry, and Nate and Nuke have chemistry, so kind of working that into the mix. I thought it's a good idea, but honestly, a weird time to just try that. I thought we had a good first period, and then we come out the second period with completely different lines.
Yeah, do you think part of it is trying to get Brock Nelson points?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he's been playing well, on the defensive side and face-offs, doing all those things. But he's a point getter.
Yeah, and he needs to He's got to break that seal, and then he'll find his game. I think he's right there. He's right there. He made a nice little drop pass tonight, a few little nifty plays, but And that one walked right down the slot, and Joseph Woll, the big glove, yet again.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, he had a true hockey card style save tonight. The way they shot it, like the replay was from center ice or so far and down the ice to where he saved it. And I was like, oh, I think I had like a Cujo or a Brodeur card that looked exactly like that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, he flashed the leather a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
And so was Martin Netches always this fast?
Yeah,
because I don't remember noticing him like that in Carolina.
I didn't either.
Maybe because they don't hang on to the puck.
Knew it, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's the system. You don't see it as much. He's getting a lot more time to just hold it and go with it. But man, yeah, when you see it, it's there's been times where I don't see the number at first, and I think it's Nate, and then I'm like, oh, geez, that's Marty. So
he's big too.
Yeah,
he's very tall. Yeah. He definitely has that burst of speed style. I do remember it a little bit in Carolina for sure. That is kind of what he's always brought is he's really
speed.
Fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy to see it, to think that you could mix someone up with Nathan MacKinnon. That's
I know.
A true compliment.
Exactly. Especially as an Avs fan. I don't think anyone skates or has those bursts like MacKinnon. But then to see that and kind of have a split second of thinking that, it does blow me away. 88.
Not to get too much into the stats, but Nathan MacKinnon blows everybody else out of the water when it comes to a speed burst over 25 kilometers or so.
Yeah,
he's definitely that's his skill
for sure.
And then we touched on it earlier just for a second, but I do want to talk about Joseph Woll. Joseph Woll stopped 38 of 39 tonight for a .974 save percentage for his second win in a row against a really fucking good team. And it's getting to be that time. Does Stoli automatically, he's going to get a game the next game, but do you think, does Stoli automatically get dropped down a little bit here? Or do you think they're just going to continue splitting the rest of the season?
I don't know. It's hard. It's crazy to think that Stolarz has kind of lost the guarantee spot, but I'd say it definitely has. It's just at this point, I think Woll has won favor over, but I haven't lost favor with Stolarz. So yeah, you're gonna go back with them. I think it's just gonna come down to the last couple games. I forget where I read it, but there's not enough games basically left for someone to get a long runway, and so yeah, you're going to come into the last game of the season and probably just be all right, last 4 games, they probably each played 2. Who's had the better, either stats or record, however you want to judge their game, that's how this team's coming down. But great stuff from Woll, though. I've never, I think, felt more confident in him. There's times this year where I've always preached that he's a great goalie, but it's wavered a little bit here and there. There's no question, but I think he's proven that he can be, a game stealer.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there's a Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't think there's a Toronto Maple Leafs fan out there that wouldn't admit that they felt more comfortable with Stolarz through most of this season. Now, there was a big chunk of this season where Stolarz was out and Woll took that over, and we still felt pretty good about Woll then. So, I don't really think that it was ever anybody's job to keep. And I think you're right. It is really hanging in the balance of who plays well over the next, what do we got? 18 games or something like that? 16 games? I don't even know. We're getting real low. 68.
15
I can't.
or 16. Yeah.
Isn't that 14
games left now.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
There is not.
Oh, yeah. Tonight was 68.
Left. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I was looking at the schedule today, and just to see you can see the end of it, that's the scary part of the season. And that baseball season starts in 8 days. That's a real reminder that seasons are changing here.
Yeah it's beautiful out. Playoffs are coming. You can wear a t-shirt outside again.
A wonderful time of year. Yeah.
Wonderful time of year. And I guess that's all that really matters, right? As long as they pull it together for the playoffs.
What happens though if you go into the playoffs with a tandem, an A and B? Do you just let's say you lose the first game, so do you switch to the other guy right away? Or
it's my worst nightmare, Ted. That's what that is. Yes.
Yeah, but no, yes, you do. That's exactly what you do. And if he wins, he plays. You play,
right.
you win.
Play
you
the hot
on.
hand. Sure.
Yeah.
I think that's how you
like
would
when,
do
you when
it.
you play.
Yep.
Yeah, it is really nerve-wracking that you don't have a number one. Like, you would want someone to just be playing out of their mind, and it's a no doubt. But I mean, it's not a crazy problem to have two great goalies. Maybe not, So yeah, I agree. Play one, see how it goes, go from there.
Yep.
Do you have any change of opinion after, what is it, 4 games now, 5 games with Scott Laughton? Do you think he was kind of a mistake to bring on this team, or do you think he's fulfilling the role that he was meant to when they thought about picking up a Scott Laughton?
I mean, I think it's no question it hasn't gone amazing. Like it's not his best hockey he's ever played. I do think
can't
though,
even tell he's out there.
Well, I disagree with that. I think that he's pretty quick. I do actually notice him quite a bit when he is out there. But I think that like the best, a great playoff team has a fourth line with a couple of third liners on it. And like it is kind of weird to see him on the fourth line, and it doesn't look good when you're looking at a lineup. But I think in the end, I think he's going to excel down there, and he can move up the lineup. He's, I think, a guy that I'm comfortable with almost playing anywhere except for like top line center, obviously. But as he moves up the lineup, he can go to the wing and still be a good player. And so like I don't regret it at all. Would I have liked Brock Nelson? 100%. Like, it's just, there's no question he's not the first guy that I wanted then. And looking back at it, like I still don't think it's the best guy that you could have got, but he was better than not adding anyone. And so, overpay probably, but I'm still kind of happy that he's here. I do like him as like a player.
But on the fourth line tonight, I guess it would have been Yarncroke with Lorentz and Laughton.
Yeah.
And so before they even got an attempt on net. Now I know Lorentz scored a goal shorthanded, like the special teams, but 5-on-5, before they even got an attempt on net tonight, they were down 10-0 in attempts from the other side. They were getting absolutely caved. So Berube dropped Holmberg down with Lorentz and Laughton and brought Yarncroke up with Tavares and Nylander. So, like, he doesn't fit on the third line. He doesn't fit on the fourth line. I just don't really know. I'm just I'm kind of confused about the idea of what he brings. Like, does he bring enough to warrant the Fraser Minton trade away and not just keep him and, like, look for another defender? Like, could you not have made it happen another way? Like, I don't really see him contributing enough for me to be like, why did we give away so much for a guy who's doing not enough? And that's my only bone with Scott Laughton is like, he's not flashy in any way. You don't really notice him. He doesn't contribute offensively, and he doesn't make plays. So you don't really see anything that you wanted to see with a Nick Robertson and a Bobby McMahon for your third line. You can put him on the fourth line, but you just paid a first-round pick for a fucking fourth liner, and now David Kamp's sitting. Like, David Kamp isn't just as useful of a player. Like, I don't know.
No, David Kampf is not even close to as useful as a player, because like he's one-dimensional, and I think Laughton does what Kampf does perfectly fine and probably better, but he also has a lot of other things that he does, and for cheaper.
I fucking hope so, Miller.
And
I
so,
hope so.
And like so next year, I think Kampf is gone because like Laughton probably is the fourth line centerman, and he makes less money, almost half. So like it's not that bad of a situation. The problem, I agree, it's a big price. Like everything that was traded this year was crazy prices. And so is it worth it that way? Like, I don't know. I'm still on the fence for that. But I still like, I like to kind of ignore that when I'm cheering for a team because like he's a guy that's going to help this team. He's a good player. He's like, and I think that he can.
I wish I could agree with that.
Yeah. Well,
I just don't see how he's going to help the team. He doesn't look like in any way he's been helping the team. So
he's also not an offensive guy. Like I think it's
like maybe not even offensively, but like he's not. I haven't seen big hits or big shot blocks and clutch moments. And Scott Laughton, amazing work from Scott Laughton. What a back check from Scott Laughton. He's just been in his place. He's sound, quiet, does his thing. But like,
that's what we got.
I don't know.
That's what he was before. You know, like he's gonna pot 10 to 15, but like he's not a guy that's like an offensive dynamo. He's a guy that if on his best nights, you probably don't notice him a ton, except for in scrums or if he decides to drop the mitts that night. You know, he is a guy that is gonna excel at being quiet.
So you're telling me that you've basically accepted that Scott Laughton is just a David Kampf replacement. That's all he is and was and will ever be for this team.
No, like David Kampf doesn't score 10 to 15 goals.
That's what I'm saying. He's an upgrade on David Kampf.
Yes.
That's it. He's just a replacement, but he's not better enough to be anywhere else on the team right now.
Well, I think he'd be a better fit on the left wing than Holmberg. You know, like Holmberg's not a better fit at fourth line center though. You know, so like, yeah, I think there's other places where he can excel and be good. We just haven't tried him there yet. I swear there's going to be a time when he's playing left wing on the second line. That's how they're going to rotate.
Game one of the playoffs. We won't see it at all during the regular season. Game one of the playoffs, Scott Laughton on John Tavares and William Nylander's wing.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's how Berube rolls. That's definitely how Keith rolls, but yeah. No, like the way like Kampf is getting into a game here. Like there's no way that he's not playing another game for the season. So I think if that's the way you rotate him in, is that you put him up on the left wing. I mean, or you just rejig the third line. Like, you know, that's an option, you know, but I don't know. It's like this third line, it's like the only thing that's kind of worked like all year on a third line for this team. So like I'm not sure if they want to mess with it, even though like it's definitely has its hot and cold nights, but yeah, you could look for something new there. But I'm trying to be I don't know if I'm just trying to be too over positive. You know, I'm also thinking the Blue Jays are going to be a good team this year. So maybe that can show you where my mindset is. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of happy. I like Laughton. I don't know what it is. I'm sorry that you're not alone. A lot of fans are not happy with this play.
Not a lot.
I feel like we had guys that could have just contributed in ways that he's shown to this team. What he did for Philly, what he shows that he can do, that's two totally different conversations. That's not who he is here. It's not who he's been here.
Yeah, he hasn't been the best version of
himself. It's only been 4 or 5 games, I get it, but like how many games? We go 10 games, we go 12 games. We only got 14 games left. So if he's not good by 20 games, it's kind of feeling like, well, fuck. Hope Fraser's not good down in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that already has a hat trick.
A hattie for Providence. I know, and like I hate to do that, like, you know, just wish upon things you can't get back. This is the way it is. But it still seems like I don't even feel like it's almost like he's a replacement level player for the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. What his potential can be much better, and I do hope that we see more of that. But right now, what I'm seeing is like, you know, he's fast and he's kind of in the right spot. But you don't ever see him, you know, making the biggest block, the breakup at the line at the clutch moment. We haven't had our Scott Laughton moment yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I refer to baseball a lot, I guess, but I think Laughton is like a one WAR player, which is win above replacement. You know, like he's not providing you like a 7 or an 8 like Matthews does, but like, you know, it's a positive player. I think he is a player that does contribute positively to your team.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean the pay though is just crazy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be so upset when Minton
the market was just
line center.
You know, the market was really high for trades because teams were making all in moves and doing what they had to. Like teams were, I don't know.
Nelson cost
a lot.
I was going to compare it to Laughton.
Everything.
Everything.
Callum Ritchie
physically. Yeah, we will never financially recover from this.
Yeah, that is actually a
Callum Ritchie in a first round pick, I think, something like that.
Right. So like, I mean, he's also not having the best start, but like, I also think that Brock Nelson is going to be great for
he's a great addition.
But everything across the board, I think is going to look like an overpay this year.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
and
fair.
Do you know how tall Brock Nelson is?
No.
6'4".
Oh my god!
I know. I wouldn't have guessed that.
I mean, like his head's about like a foot. So.
Yeah. Big long neck too.
He's got the straight long hair and neck. Yeah, for sure. But
what about Brandon Carlo? Did you see a picture of him next to Jake McCabe?
No, I didn't see
The
it.
man's a monster.
He's a true monster. Yeah. That's why I was so happy they got him. I knew that I was going to love him because, yeah, he's a true monster. 6'5", 225 or something like that.
Damn.
Like, yeah, that's a big.
Could be
human.
245. The guy's huge. Like,
yeah.
he's two of me.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Massive human being for sure.
Absolutely a lot of man. All right, you got any more news or notes for this game here? Or should we start to wrap this sucker up?
What do I got? The 2 matching minor penalties were funny, I thought. First one, Lecky and Nyes. I thought it was just going to be Lecky at first, and then Nyes went. And then Kelly and Tavares, and then they were chirping pretty hard in the boxes.
Yeah, I did want to mention that too, but I wasn't really sure what to say. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah,
like, I mean,
I thought it was
you
funny
expected
too,
from
yeah.
Parker Kelly. He got under John Tavares' skin, and he reacted, and they both got penalties.
Yep.
It's like the end of it. Nice to see from the the JT, the mellow man JT getting a little fired up every now and again, though.
What did you guys think about 37-year-old Eric Johnson, the Condor?
Oh man, yeah, Dirty Johnson. He threw the knee at the end there. Did you see that? I mean,
what was it?
Yeah, you need. I think it was darn, who was it? Tavares, maybe. Yeah, it was Tavares. Yeah,
Really, eh?
And came down the other end and he was all fired up and tried to score. But yeah, Eric Johnson, he was a little slow in the play, stuck out a knee a little bit. It wasn't the dirtiest thing I've ever seen, but yeah. I wasn't sure what to expect, actually. After he left the Avs the first time, just didn't really pay attention to him. I didn't know if he was just a bum now or what, but I mean, yeah, seems like he can still play.
Yeah, it was funny. He played his 1,000th game with Philly against the Avs, and then comes back as an Av now, and I don't know. He said he'd do anything. He played 5 minutes a night, 2 minutes a night, 10 minutes a night. They've been playing him the last few games over 10 minutes.
He said he'd sweep snow off the ice in between commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to see
hilarious.
He's like, I'll do whatever.
Yeah. He's all in.
So it is like a little bit of a legacy ad, but seems like he can contribute in somehow. Is he in the playoff lineup, do you think?
I don't know if he'll just be depth. It's interesting because Manson right now is out injured. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I know. Malinsky. He had some nice L1R1s tonight.
Yeah. Actually, I forgot to mention the one L1R1 isn't always the best, but last game we had a bad one on our team. I think it was Benoit totally screened the goalie, but yeah.
Yeah, it goes wrong sometimes.
You win some, you lose some. Sometimes it goes right off you and in, eh, Ted?
Yeah, sometimes you dive it directly into the net.
That happens.
There's some history.
The old L1R1. Anyways, so the Leafs play again tomorrow against the Rangers, and then we will be back Saturday after the game in Music City against the Nashville Predators. Do we have any predictions for tomorrow's game?
Tomorrow's one of the few times that all the Montreal Canadiens fans are going to be cheering for Toronto.
Hell yeah, they will be. Yeah, fucking Rangers, man.
Yeah, that race for the last wild card is tight.
I really want to see Montreal get it.
I do too. I mean, I also would get all the Canadian teams. I think we're going to be one shy.
Yeah, I don't think Calgary is going to.
Calgary sucks.
But yeah, as much
as
they
beat the brakes off the Rangers 2 days ago, didn't they?
Yep. Yeah, they needed to get. Yeah, we wanted that.
Yeah. Well, and that. Yeah. Sorry, I have nothing to add.
Oh, Justin's asking about Obi. Do we think Obi's breaking the record this year in the final stretch? What is he now? 7 goals away, 8 goals away?
Man,
I think he'll be real close. It'll be the 3rd game of the season or 4th game of the season.
I think he's going to do it
year.
before.
I hope he gets to within 1, and then he retires.
Oh my God. Harsh.
I'm cheering against the man. I'm sorry.
And then they hire Mike Babcock, and he healthy scratches him.
Yeah, for the rest. Yeah. And then I'll actually like Babcock.
Poor Mike Modano. All right. Let's wrap this mother up. That is a wrap. Thanks for joining us on Split the Defense, Leafs post game presented by Laforest Electrical Contractors, serving the Kingston and surrounding area since 2004. Leave us a comment if you haven't already. Thank you if you have. Thank you for joining us. We love having you. Hit that like button on the way out of here. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube. Until next time. Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
Follow the boys on Twitter at STDPWebby, at Craig D. Pearce, and at Ted_is_show.